Hello, my fellow humans. In this insightful episode, we sit down with Andrea Dyan Brown, a strategic growth advisor and speaker and author of A Business That Works for You. Andrea shares her wealth and experience in helping businesses and leaders overcome challenges and foster sustainable growth. Our key topics today will include leadership strategies, AI, technology, and business, building a self-sustainable business, and effective communication. Let's dive right in. Let's get started here. Today we have Dyan
Dyan.
Dyan Brown with us today, who's a strategic growth advisor, speaker, and author of a book that I've actually been reading.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually in the middle of chapter 4 right now. I'll have you introduce yourself, give us some information more about you and your background, and also about your book as well.
Yeah, no problem. I started many, many years ago. I won't divulge how long ago in the advertising space. And I evolved it into marketing on what we call the client side. And after my company got acquired, I started working as a fractional CMO. And then working as a fractional CMO is working with a lot of founders of new startups and smaller businesses, as well as larger, more established businesses, but they're looking for marketing to solve all the problems. Let's grow. We want to grow. We want to expand. We need more awareness, solve all our problems, marketing. And then I get in there and I'm
I
like,
understand that.
there's some things going on in here. You guys got to fix some things. This is a lot more than a marketing problem. So I advised all the CEOs and founders on that. And then I started thinking about what these big CEOs have been doing, the ones that are running larger corporations, but or even founders that just take off, right? Those guys know they just have something and they're looking at things differently than these other struggling leaders. So I started a masterclass, but that quickly pivoted to a book instead, and it's called A Business That Works for You. And I take people through how you can really build a sustainable, self-running business so you can focus on the big picture and enjoy life.
Yes. And like I was saying earlier, I'm in the middle of that book. It's actually coming in handy, and it touches a lot of things that I've been reading in other books too, where you have a different take and turn on it. And all these books are written so differently, but they have the same concepts in them of things that you should be doing.
True. So I'm not unique in that aspect of tackling the subject, but I think I'm a little more unique in talking with leaders and with them in the book as opposed to over their heads, and inundating them with all this facts and research, which I have some in there, but it's mostly about giving them a resource that they can read easily, understand, and implement.
I've actually been learning that myself because I'm still learning to not talk over their heads, how to communicate with them. So I'm so technical. I'm like, how do you get this? It just works this way. Come on, people. But I realized you can't talk to them like that because they just look at you like, are you done, sir?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That's just like the Peanuts teacher at the front of the room, right?
Right? They're like, I know my business, but I don't know what you're saying to me right now, young man, but I don't like your attitude,
Yeah, you're doing this on purpose and you're making it
Right?
silly.
How have you learned to talk? I know talking to C-suite, you have to kind of massage them and talk to them a certain way to get them on board and to understand how to kind of innovate and get their business going the direction that they want to. Have you found those ways of talking with them? Or are you still learning them?
It's all unique, one individual to another. The things to learn is right away is, the kickoff meeting's the key, right? How do they want to work? You ask them, how do you want to work? How often do you want to meet? What are you used to? Who would you like me to work with in addition to you? What stakeholders that we need to talk to? Just all of that. And you can kind of really get a feel of their personality. You can ask them these great questions like I have in chapter 2, chapter 2 is the basic, right? Yeah, the basics. where you ask a lot of great questions, and you can use those as a kind of a sounding off point with the client. Why did they get in the business in the first place? What do they want out of it? What are your goals? And then you can see how they react, engage. If they're going to be more receptive, it's going to take a little more hand holding. If it's, just what is it that how they want to work. Yeah.
I'm starting to learn that. I can learn a lot from you, and I'm sure our audience can with this concept as well. They're trying to get through to everyone is different.
Yeah. One thing
They
I've
run their
learned,
businesses differently.
and I don't know if you've run into this, you're more technical, but a lot of these founders and small business owners, they don't want your advice. They'd like to think that everything they've done has been perfect and it's a different problem. Like I said, they use other
Yes.
marketing and say solve problem. Trying to find that way and find your way into talking with them, not to them, but with them,
Yes.
to help them see that these are necessary things, and it's not about them, it's about their business and building the business as the entity that it is, so they can get it step away. They are not their business, even though they created it. Just like a child, right? You might have created a child, but that you're not that child. So let's treat it like the entity it's supposed to be, including corporate credit, which they usually forget all about, and they use their personal funding and their personal assets and personal credit. Should we not doing that?
I've been at fault of that myself, I can say. But I am learning.
Yeah, if you can get that to good credit, you're going to be more fundable. You're going to be able to get bigger funding options and more funding options.
Yeah, and there's a whole world of finance that I'm learning about for business and for personal, because I've went into business. It actually taught me so much more about finance and leadership and things about my life as well. I didn't realize it was going to be teaching me, or that I
Oh,
could even learn it was even possible. I was like, whoa, I should have started a business a long time ago. What the hell?
yeah, exactly. And so you learning, it's like it's in the book, it says that continuous learning is key. And it is. And you're there. If you don't, you're going to get stuck in the mud or left backwards. Like you got to embrace everything that's happening in the world today and then what might be happening tomorrow. It's just, you can't keep up, and you have to keep up in order
I
to.
agree. I mean, I see a lot of CEOs, some I'm working with right now, they are kind of stuck in their old ways, and what they're doing is so important, but they're missing the parts of what they're doing and the people that they're supposed to be leading to come with them for the most valuable point of the whole pie.
Yeah, the resistance is real.
Resistance is futile.
Futile, but it's real. And if
It
you
really is.
get through that resistance, you're going to help that business leader, that, you're going to help them. And that's the whole goal, is just to help them. And if they're too resistant, then maybe they're just not ready
It's a
yet.
battle sometimes. It's a war you're not going to win, or I've learned you don't need to win. You just need to be able to get through to help serve that purpose. It's really hard sometimes. You're like, no.
Can I just get you to drink this water I just led you to? Can you just drink it? Like, come on. I'm just going to drown you now. No, that you can't. They're just not ready. You got to walk away and
Yeah, I'm
give them a.
seeing that and I'm learning that. From other books and your book too. It really helps to keep seeing it and reading it over and over. It kind of, I want to say brainwashes me, but it helps to change the mindset and the output from that. So
I like
yeah,
how you
the
said
mindset
that.
is key.
I've got a lot of the strategy mindset, the growth mindset, and the
Yes,
end game being used as your strategy throughout business. But yeah, your
I
mindset,
agree.
the innovative mindset. If you can foster innovation within your organization, you're going to stay ahead of the curve. Yeah.
I feel that comes with great leadership, but not all CEOs are necessarily the best leaders as well.
And that's what the job is, right? That's my job, is to get them to help them be that great leader they can be, or they want to be. They can, if you're a leader and you're not fostering a collaborative environment, an innovation mindset, or especially creating other leaders under you, then you're not being
100.
an effective leader. Your business is going to stagnate.
And
To
so
grow.
many of them are missing that mark, I feel, nowadays. I feel like servant leadership is kind of key to a lot of this, because so many companies are just kind of like, they're just going forward, but they have like a blindfold on.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
Well, they're riding on the luck and the idea. They're not just luck, but they're ingenious maybe of the idea of what started the business, right? They're kind of riding on that, but it takes a lot more than that first initial momentum to keep it going, to grow it, and to make it increase its value, right? You want to increase its value, whether you're looking for investors, or may need funding at some point, or you might want to sell it at some point, and to have everything buttoned up within the organization, self-sufficient, able to run without you, won't crumble without you. And it's self-sufficient financially. It's independently financially using a corporate credit instead of your personal. And you're able to, then you've got a business that is attractive to these lenders, investors, and buyers.
I would have a question. Some leaders, I've noticed this, that they feel they're going forward and doing things correctly, but they're not quite seeing the whole picture. How do you kind of strategize to help them understand? Because you can't help everyone. Some of them are just going to be blinding the blind and they're gone. That's fine.
Yeah, that's like leading them
You
to
have to
wonder.
wonder, we want help. What are the strategies to help those who want help to do
Well,
better?
you asking the right questions, right? They want help, but they haven't looked at things the way. If they had been looking at things the way they need to be, then they wouldn't be looking for the help, right? They wouldn't be as
True.
frustrated. You don't address that so much as you address finding out what is not working. Find out what is working, find out what is not working, and then work on what's not working while working with that leader to get them to start, working with them to start looking at the company in more of a bird's eye view, little more 360, doing more delegating, creating other leaders. You work with them on that, but you don't have to be like, you need to do this. You need to do
right
that.
now.
Ah,
Yeah, some reason it just doesn't work with a lot of people, If
yeah,
someone comes up to me and says, you do this that way, I'll be like, no, I don't think I will. You ask me in a different way.
nobody likes to be told what to do,
No.
and it's like the old advertisements. And I don't know if there's some probably still in there. Do it now, watch now, take it, call
Do it
now.
now.
Yeah. I used to be like, when I used to watch commercials, I used to be like, don't tell me what to do. I will do what I want to do, even if I
That's
want.
why I've been learning through behavior psychology, figuring out the ways to get through to them without telling them you're getting through to them. I think I said that correctly.
Yeah, you're around the ballpark there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
no,
a challenge.
just keep in mind, they're struggling, they're frustrated, they have a goal, they want it to be easy, but
It's not.
sometimes you have to take baby steps, and sometimes they get it right away, and they're like, oh, okay, what else? What's next? How do we do this? This is great.
They just want to keep going momentum forward without stopping. But
Yeah, but there's a
sometimes you
lot.
got to.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in between too.
And I've been learning too that whatever you did to get to where you are now does not mean that's the right way or mindset you have in order to get to the next step.
Exactly.
You have to change that and pivot.
If you could, then you already would, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
I'm learning coaches and talking to humans like you with these amazing ideas that you have to sometimes talk with other people. You have to reach out and get strategic help from them.
Exactly.
Like that fire.
Well, like you mentioned before, learning is key, right? So you want
Yeah.
to continue to learn more about what is out there as far as technology and options, but also, the whole referral network. Those are your lowest hanging fruit. You want to get out there and put yourself out there. And if you can't, you need to delegate to somebody who can. And it's not necessarily a salesperson. It could be a marketing person. It could be somebody just with a dynamic personality within your organization. It just depends, on what you've got and what your goals are and what your industry is.
That is true. And it's not always the CEO that's made for TV, as you would say, to
No,
put
but
them out there.
learning never stops. So if they want to be that CEO,
They could.
they could get some speaking coaching or networking coaching, or they could do a lot of different things, reading some other books and, again, changing the mindset, you know,
Yes.
and don't be scared. Like you're scared, of course, it's scary to change things. Change is
It's
scary.
scary for a little bit. I mean, I've encountered this. It's a little bit, but eventually you get over that. You find your voice. You figure out how to talk to people, how to persuade people. And most of all, remember being a human. You're two humans having a conversation, trying to figure these things out to help benefit the greater good. God bless America.
We all know change only is the norm later on, right? Change is just
Yes.
temporary,
Something you
right?
gotta fight for it, though.
Yeah. So you change, things change, but then you get used to it and it becomes normal. And then guess what? You got to change.
And the Bible I've heard that makes sense is don't get too used to where you are, get too comfortable. Get comfortable by being uncomfortable. Be comfortably uncomfortable. So that way you will grow and face new challenges.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it
And
makes more sense.
you'll want those, right? Because you'll be challenged by it. Like, what else? What's next? That's why some of these leaders end up going, oh my gosh, this is great. Sometimes it's a long time to get them there too. Oh my gosh, this is great. What's next? I'm really loving this. But most of them end
Yeah.
up going, I really love this.
I mean, I would think that's why they got into this in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they got into business in the first place. That's why they called me to help out in the first place. So yeah, got to get them there to where they're really loving it and they want to know what's next. Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So we talked before this conversation a few weeks ago about AI and the innovation mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to touch bases on AI and businesses and technology right now because it's a huge thing. And that's kind of a mindset and transition in itself for companies to be doing.
It's going to change the landscape of everything. However, what I just did a speaking engagement and I was telling the audience, it is not scary. It is a tool.
Yeah.
Use it as the tool it's meant to be. It's not to replace and it's not to be doing the work for you. It is unless it's a robot, unless it's like in the phone. I don't know. But there's a human factor that you're missing, especially when it comes to creative. Like if you're creating content at all, you can see these photographs that are AI generated. You can tell by looking at their hands. So they have 6 fingers, 3 fingers. Those are AI doesn't know how to draw.
I'm sure those aren't normal, okay?
Yeah, we're aliens. And or their ears placed in the wrong space or something.
Yeah, but it's getting a lot better now. Like it's profound
getting,
how far it's coming.
It's getting better. Like if you look at some of the posts from some of the politics over the last year, you can see how some of them were so blatantly AI generated to me, but a lot of people are like, oh my God, shock and all, the clickbait. And it's just like, oh my, just look, that little girl has.
Does that look real? Come on now.
She's not. And who's taking the picture of that little girl, right? Like, why are you not questioning why that person's not helping?
People have a responsibility to take it upon themselves to really check out the information that's being presented in front of them to make sure that it makes sense,
Yeah, always question everything. And AI though, that's what I'm going back to. It's AI it's not human. It doesn't understand that it's created a anomaly in the image. Same with copywriting with ChatGPT. It's not, if you're creating a post or an email, they'll say, hey, create this email or create this post without giving it good prompts or writing it yourself and then say, hey, polish this up, because you're going to end up with a robot response.
It sounds inhuman.
And if you don't read it all the way through, it's going to go off topic. It's not going to say what you want it to say. And
I've seen a lot of hallucinations for sure.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wait, I don't want to say that. So don't use it to replace or do your work. Use it as a tool it's meant to be. And it can be really awesome and help you be more efficient, more productive.
Yeah, the more you fine tune it, you can really use it for the greater good of your business. It's gonna help accelerate
Exactly.
things. So, I mean, as leaders, we have to use it all the time as we're growing our businesses.
Yeah.
Because
And
sometimes we don't have people just yet.
it's going to be more and more and more used. It will get better. It will get better, and it will. They will take over, and the Terminator's coming. Just saying. I'm
It's okay. It's being so. Check this out. I was talking to a guy the other day. I'm gonna have him on the podcast too. He's really into deep fakes, and he came on with the deep fake, and it looks so real. I was like, whoa. So I can see why like people and businesses are getting trolled by these on their Zoom calls, and they're saying the CEO's coming on that looks just like him and asking for all this money. It makes sense because they're very hard to tell who's who now. They're
it's
pretty
it
good.
it's going to shake things up.
Ooh.
I can see regulations coming in, but we already have so many scammers and so many selfish people that they're going to be using it to the full advantage.
Phishing is a service, ransomware is a service.
I would suggest that nobody gets their news online, especially on social platforms, because it's too easy, right? If you're
Yeah.
in a live situation at a live situation where they're reporting live, then not post it on social media, but maybe broadcast live, or maybe they are filming. I don't know, but I just say I see there's a lot on all fronts, no matter what you're in industry, politics, or otherwise. There's a lot of lots of the propaganda out there, so to sway your opinion to that person's opinion.
I mean, we thought it used to be bad before. Well, move over because AI is in town
Yeah,
and
but
it's only begun.
when that begins, there's going to be an AI that can recognize AI. They've already started it. There's a
Yeah.
platform called Quoted. If you've ever been on that, it's QWOTED. It is journalists posting, looking for information from different topics, and you can give them your quote, right? And you give them a quote. There is an A detector, because you got to put it through the platform. There's an AI detector on it.
Okay, I got you.
We
Yes.
cannot allow AI. Sorry. And it'll give you a rating on how much AI. Type one. Once I hand type my response. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I hand typed my response, and it came back at 90% human. I'm like, what?
Like, whoa.
That's
It's like pinching yourself. Am I real?
I was probably too stringent in some kind of speak. I don't know. But
So
anyway.
there is a little misalignment with some of those things because I know what you're talking about, Croted. That when I went to school, they had a similar system. I think it's gotten better now, but they put all their papers through this AI system because all the kids are using it in college and stuff now for their papers, and they gotta make sure they're
That's
not using it correct.
absolutely. Those AI detectors are only going to get better. All that is going to get better. I can see that being required in some of these platforms in the future, and right now it's just the cowboy Wild West out there, and we'll see.
I mean, they should be working on the regulations now, but unfortunately, regulations are always behind the actual technology. And it's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah. You would hope that people would want to provide truth and
You would
just
think.
you would think, just like,
I think people just seem like it's okay
but
if I don't know the truth.
they're afraid that then they'll lose users, right? They're afraid they'll lose.
Yeah,
And if
followers.
everybody is doing it, then you're not. You're going to have everybody have to be honest. Unfortunately, that's going to really put a crink in those peoples who don't want to be, who have something to gain.
They want to be dubious and be like conniving. Well, how can we use this for us now?
Well, they'll figure out another way. There's
Oh
always
yes, percent.
it's always a struggle,
I especially like in the business world because when you're trying to implement AI in your business and you say you have like 100 employees and you have that on, employees are not trained. They don't know, hey, do not put PII or personal information in there. Be very stringent about how you put the information. They don't get that. They throw everything in there and it's like,
Oh
oh
my
no.
gosh, are you kidding me? There's so many people
I've
that
seen it already a couple of times. I'm just like,
corporate world, and you turn off their computer and they're freaking out because they have all this personal stuff in there. And you're like, dude, this is a work computer. Never put your personal stuff. Why can't
15
access?
demerits. Get out
I
of
was just
here.
going to go home and take it off. I can access the cloud. It's like, okay, well, let me see.
Yeah,
Tell
it's
me
a lot of
for the.
training and awareness needing to happen in the business world for sure.
It's just weird how people will like, oh, I don't care. Like, who cares? It's my business computer. It's my business account. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then if something happens, then they freak out. I didn't know you couldn't do that.
I'm paying you for this. Why'd you let this happen?
It's a business.
Whoa, buddy. What?
Yeah. And what another thing is helpful, and that I think businesses need to put more emphasis on is training. Training. There's a lot to be said about
Can you say that one more time for the audience out there?
training.
You guys hear that?
Yeah. So training on processes, that's awesome, right? Processes and procedures keeps everything a nice, well-oiled machine so you can step away and
Beautiful. Sorry.
managers don't have to freak out because everybody's going willy-nilly. It's chaos. So training, and regular training, like, once a year or something, especially on new things that are coming about or things you want to change. And then, branding. So I've always emphasized this: brand strategies. Brand strategies should be shared with employees and vendors alike, because it's not just about your brand and marketing using it right. It's about everybody. And it doesn't matter if you're scrubbing the floors for the company. It
You're
doesn't
still
matter
representing.
if you're the CEO. If everybody is in synergy representing the brand with messaging and personality, you not only exude what you want to the public, or clients, you also build enthusiasm within the organization and loyalty within the organization because they feel like they're part of it. It's their brand.
Very well said. Yes.
Yeah. So training on that. You got to train on that.
That story just reminded me of a company I worked for. They had on the wall, I don't know if you're familiar with Patrick Liccioni. Might be butchering that name. He writes a lot of books on business, teamwork, strategy.
Yeah, I think I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah, on the wall, they had this picture of all these people in a boat, and they said that if you're all strolling in the same direction at the same time, it'd all be like becoming better synergy or something. I'm messing up the words there.
Well, they'll get there faster.
Going the right direction at the same time.
You'll get there faster. If everybody's rowing different directions and different times, you may go forward, but it's going to be really slow. And sometimes you won't move at all.
Yeah. Rough times ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Well said.
Yeah.
Dude, that is amazing. I can't remember what that quote said exactly. It's going to bother me a little bit now. I stored it for like 4 years and I can't remember it.
Just Google it.
Yeah, it's not like Google's our
before
friend.
you go to bed, because otherwise you're going to be like, oh.
Wake up in the middle of the night. What was that? The future of leadership, becoming like kind of the future of AI and business, kind of the future of leadership, meaning what trends do you kind of see in the market with leadership, which ways it's going to be going, especially for like 2025?
Yeah.
What you've been doing hasn't been working very well.
I gotta say, I would have said more remote work, but not so much, because there's such a push to put people in offices. And I haven't seen that, and if that's a good thing. To me, I agree with, which one was it? I saw a post where one of the companies, they're like, our employees are not children. We will continue to be remote workers. And I want to say that is the key. If you are hiring people who need to be manager and managed in person, then you're not hiring.
What are you doing?
Right people. You want to hire productive people who are serious about their job and then trust them to do the work that they are qualified for because you hired them. However, I do see benefits of being in office, right? I see the collaboration. However, that can be disruptive if you're having too many sidebar conversations, because I used to have an open door in my office and I had to stay till 10, 11 o'clock at night to get my actual work done because so many people would just be coming in Just having,
I feel that so hard. That's why I
yeah,
like working remotely.
me too. I can choose when I get interrupted. And anyway, but that's me, right? And then there's others that just love the office atmosphere and love going into the office. So you don't want to take that away from them either. So the hybrid, I think it's going to be the trend for 2025, because you're going to lose really good workers to another company that'll give them remote work if they don't want to come into the office. And you'll keep the good workers that like both, and then the ones that really love coming in. So I think hybrids would be good. Of course, leaders who it's their choice, and I would think they would have to look at their company and figure out what the employees are really excel at. Like what are they excelling, when are they excelling most, in office, out office, or a hybrid situation, and then make that decision there. As far as leaders are concerned, I think like I said, it's a cowboy. It's the Wild West out there. We've got so many new companies coming in, all these AI companies, all sorts of things happening. And each leader is different. And there's so many that haven't even had one job prior to some of these founding. And those are the frustrating ones because it's a learning curve that they need to learn.
They haven't built themselves up yet, trying to build a company up. You're like, whoa, buddy,
They don't
whoa.
know how to manage people. They don't know how to set up processes. And sometimes the cannabis industry, for example, they resistant to process, but they learning the hard way. So many cannabis industry and companies have gone out of business because they just resisted it so much. Like, we don't want the man coming in here, but you have a business. So
Have the man, save the empire.
you still have to run a business. So you have to be involved, and you have to, to be involved without having to be in the trenches. There's a big difference. But anyway, I see more leaders being flushed out, if you will, and those who are willing to learn how to run the business so it doesn't run them, and grow that business and let go of their little baby that they just created and let it become the flourishing business that it should be, an entity of its own.
I feel like that actually goes with them developing what do we call it, emotional intelligence, so that they can understand and see
Intelligent.
that.
Emotional intelligence is a good word, because it covers, leave the ego, leave leave the attachment, and also realize that you have a lot to learn and learn it. And
Yes,
it's all learnable.
I would agree. Like, if you like, I always say there's a fixed mindset and then there's a growth mindset. Fixed mindset can be very dangerous at times. Okay, maybe most of the time.
It'll end up failing. If you have a fixed
Yeah,
mindset, if it's in business, you'll end up failing.
yeah. Because in business, you have to stack skill on top of skill, so you have to grow.
Exactly.
You just have to, and you have to know so many different things.
If you want to be a leader, absolutely.
Or if you want to be a great leader above the 99% of the other ones, they're not doing it. I
Right.
mean, yes, growth is definitely key.
Growth. If you want growth is key within yourself.
Damn, that's absolutely good. If you want growth, never thought about it. To me, I've always thought growth is powerful, important. Let's just grow. But I never thought some people might not want it.
Some
Damn,
people do not like change. They do.
true.
They hang on to everything for all it's worth, but that's just life. Life changes constantly.
I'm always like preaching and telling people like, you can get it if you want to. You just have to grow. You just have to grab it and just go with it. But some people might not want to do that. They might just be fine where they are.
They might be, but if they want to be a leader, they have to grow, and they have to have that strategic mindset, the innovative mindset, and know their end game.
And I feel people always think, yes, I feel people always like, I wasn't born that way. But you don't have to be born that way. You can learn and grow into being that person. It's not necessarily something you're born with.
Nobody's born. Nobody. Some are born as a leader, but leadership
Yes.
it can be learned, and you can be a fantastic leader if you are willing to accept some things that may or may not be working within your your leadership style and make a change and grow, like you said, and learn.
Yes. But also you gotta see with your own eyes what's not working too, because some people don't see it. They think, oh, everything's working, everything's fine. This
Well,
is
they are,
great.
and they don't need help, right? Because then they're gonna just go do their thing, and if it continues to work, great. I'm happy for you. But if you need help, then give us a call.
Yeah, and it's hard for me sometimes. I see that with a lot of companies I work with. I'm just like, I want to say and do and create so much so I make them see it. I see what it's doing to the employees. I'm like, son, you're one person. This is their company, not yours. You have your own. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, I mean,
Or call the good guys.
a conversation's okay if you have a suggestion. You can always offer your opinion strategically and in
I know
a
that might be rough. How do you offer that without being like,
you
them being like, oh
to figure
God.
out how you can do that in a constructive, helpful way. Think about how you want to help them. Don't point out what they're doing wrong unless you can point out a solution. Have you thought of this?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Point out a solution before showing them what they did wrong.
No, you don't even tell them what they did wrong. Just
Like, okay, let me tell.
offer a solution idea without telling what they did wrong. They figure it out. Have you ever thought of this? And no, I haven't. Why do you say that? Well, you could gain this. And as opposed to, do you see how wrong you're being? That's not working over there. You're bogging down your productivity over here because of this. It's all negative and it's not going to be received well. But if you say,
Damn, I might have to hire you one of these days, actually, I'm thinking about this in my own head. I'm like, damn, this makes too much sense.
yeah, logic, yeah.
It's logically illogical sometimes.
Well, true, because you want to get your information out. And you want to get it out to them, and you think you're helping them, but unless you're doing something unless you say it in a way that it's receptive to them, it's not going to be helpful. And
Damn, that's
and if
powerful.
they've already thought of it, lots of times they're like, "Yeah, I've already tried that. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to show up now. You okay?"
I'm gonna back away.
Exactly.
Damn, it gives me a lot to think about now. Giving me, I'm like, yeah, I see myself there many times.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this amazing information. I gotta finish reading your book too, because I really appreciate you coming on here today.
Well, thank you. Oh my gosh, it's been an honor. Thank you so much. I love chatting with you, Justin. Please have me back. It's always
Yes.
fun talking with you.
If anyone wanted to reach out to you and maybe to do business with you, talk your head off, figure some things out strategically, where would they be able to reach you?
Frequency110.com. So frequency110.com. And if you're interested in my book, there is a link right there on the first page to purchase a business that works for you. But also on frequency110.com, at the very top, there's a button for a 15-minute Q&A 15-minute Q&A call. And then at the very bottom is a contact sheet if you just want to send me a note.
Awesome. I'll definitely put it down in the show notes also.
I have a lot more information on there. If you go to Growth Resources, you'll find things on business credit, marketing, and a couple other optimizing your business, a couple other.
You might have to do this like 2 or 3 times a week. No, I'm just kidding.
Anytime. Well, I'm happy to come back.
Yes. Thank you again. I appreciate your time. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Justin. Have a good one.